Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to the latest episode of Musical Musings, airing every Wednesday at 1 p.m. We broadcast this program from Rajamachan University of Technology, Pranicon, and it's brought to you in two parts. During our first part, we're going to introduce the song to you. We'll talk about its main themes, we'll talk about the band or the singer who performs it, just kind of the general idea of the song. Then we'll listen to the song, and in our second part, we will analyze the lyrics. The lyrics are the words to the song. So we're going to go over any words or phrases that may be a little bit difficult to understand. Maybe the vocabulary is difficult, or maybe it's some weird phrase that doesn't mean what it says. So we're going to talk about those type of things in the second part of the program to make sure you understand what the song is about. After that, our program will be just about done, so we will have the news and the latest updates from the university as usual.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Gary Gray. I am your host for Musical Musings. I come from America, and I'm an English teacher here at Rajamachan University of Technology, Pranicon. I have been here for about 6 years, a little more than that actually, so I've been here quite a while, teaching at the university. So, for today's song, we're going to listen to a song that's called Call Me. Call Me, that's the name of the song. And it is going to be sung by the performer, the band. You could call them a band, you could call her a performer, Blondie. So let's talk about Blondie for a moment. The reason I say you could talk about them as a band is because it's more than just the lead singer. There is a full band there. However, it is mostly known for its lead singer. And, of course, the lead singer, as you can guess from the name of the group, Blondie, the name of the lead singer, her hair is blonde. Blonde. A lot of times in English language, as kind of a slang term, we might call someone who is blonde, Blondie. Like you might say, hey, Blondie. I would say it's not very nice. It's not a very nice term, but if someone calls themselves that, it's actually okay. That's fine. That's fine if someone calls themselves that. It's because it's not a really offensive term. It's not really bad. Like, there are really bad terms in English for when you're talking about people who are of certain races, or if you talk about people who are gay or something like that. There are some really bad terms. But someone with blonde hair, if you were to call them Blondie, yeah, if you don't know them, if you're just saying, hey, Blondie, that's kind of rude. Referring to someone by the way they look, that's kind of a rude thing to do. So it's not really a nice term in general, but for the name of the group, you know, obviously she named it herself. She's the lead singer. Her name is actually Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry. It sounds like a weird name, the name Harry. Her last name is usually a man's name, so that's kind of weird. But we have some names like that in English, where a last name could be a first name. And because it's your last name, it may or may not match whether you are a woman or a man. So her last name happens to be Harry. So her name, again, is Debbie Harry. So since she gave the name herself, I would say that in this case, Blondie is okay. It's fine. It's fine. There's nothing offensive about it. She made up the name herself because she's blonde. And she also wants to be blonde. If you look at pictures of her, you can tell just by looking at her that it's not natural blonde hair. She bleaches her hair, so she's blonde on purpose, and she calls her band Blondie, so obviously the name Blondie in this case is not a offensive or bad term. That's the name of the group. Okay, and again, it is really a group. It's more than just her. She has guitarist, drummer. It's a full band, but it's a little bit weird. Sometimes you have bands. Sometimes you have individual singers, and even the individual singers will have a backup band. For example, we've done on this program Gordon Lightfoot. Okay, that's probably a bad example because it usually is just him. It's him and his guitar. Occasionally there is a little bit of background, though, with him as well. But a better example might be someone like, who else have we done on this program? We have done, I believe we've done Neil Diamond. If you listen to Neil Diamond's songs, there's music behind him. I don't believe he's ever playing an instrument in any of his songs. I could be wrong because he might play the piano sometimes. I'm not sure about that. But if there's ever a guitar or a drum, anything like that, it's not him. I've seen him in concert, and he has a band with him. So there are other people playing the instruments. But we still call it Neil Diamond. We call it by his name, so we don't really call it a band. We call it that's just a singer, a performer. It's just Neil Diamond. So with this one, it's a little weird because Blondie, it's kind of like the name for the group because it's not called Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry is her name. Just like Neil Diamond, that's his name. It's a weird name. Sounds like a made-up name. We talked about this when we did his episode, and that's actually not even a made-up name. His father's last name really is Diamond. Yes, Diamond, like the jewel. His real name is Neil Diamond, yeah. Not a made-up name. Sounds like a made-up name for a singer, right? Nope, that's his name. So we don't call this band Debbie Harry. So Blondie is kind of the name of the band, right? Yeah. But at the same time, Blondie is really just referring to her. She's the only blonde one in the band. It's about her, and she's the lead singer. So I don't know. Is this a group? Do you consider this a group or a band? Is this a band or is this just a singer? I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's move on from this. Okay. So as you know, I mention it almost every week that we usually do older bands here because I know that a lot of Thai people like older Western music. Also, for those who don't, that means you're probably not going to know the music, and I like to introduce new music to you. So this band or singer, again, whatever you want to call it, started in 1974. So it's not quite as old as some of the groups we've done, but pretty close. Most of the groups we've done have started around 1968, 69, 70, right there in the late 1960s. Blondie came out in 1974, so that's pretty close to the same time frame as the other groups we've done, but it's a little later than most. I think we've done one or two other groups that came out in the mid-1970s. For example, we did Toto. We did their song Africa, which I believe Toto started in the mid-1970s as well. So Blondie started in 1974. Again, Debbie Harry is their lead singer. They're an American band. Again, I'll just call them a band because, again, it's hard to know how to refer to them. But we'll just call them a band because Blondie is not her actual name. Okay, so the band actually formed in 1974. They're an American band. They are still performing today, but unlike most of the groups that are still performing today, they actually took a long break. We have talked about some of these other bands who are still around today. For example, last week, I think it was, or a few weeks ago, we did the Moody Blues. Actually, they're not around anymore, but they only just very recently retired. They took a break at one time, but their break was only like a couple of years long. We've done the band Styx. Did they really take a break? It's hard to even say because they changed up the people in the band so much. They always kind of kept performing, but with different people. There might have been a little bit of a break in there, so they may have taken a short break as well. Unlike those groups, Blondie actually took a very long break. So why would they do that? Why would they do that? In fact, they stopped after only 8 years. They formed in 1974. They stopped performing in 1982. So why did they do that? That seems really short. Usually when that happens, it's because, there's a fight between the band members or something like that. They hate each other, they break up, they do their own thing. That's actually not what happened. In this case, what happened is the lead singer, Debbie Harry, her husband or partner, I'm not sure if they were married, but her partner had a serious medical condition, very rare medical condition. So she basically quit the band to take care of him. They were quite popular. They had, even though they were only around for like 8 years, and it took them 4 years to get popular. So they were really only popular for like 4 years. And they had at least 4 big hits. So that's really popular. That's basically a big hit every single year. So they had these 4, they didn't come out one each year, of course. I mean, they had 2 one year, then maybe they went a year without a big hit. They had some smaller hits, though, so there were other kind of good songs in between there as well. But they had 4 really big hits in only 4 years. So they probably made a lot of money, so she could afford to do that. So she quit so she could take care of her husband. So it was actually a pretty good reason for them to quit. So, you can't really hold that against them. It was disappointing. Me, your host here, I'm kind of old, so I remember back then when they were performing, and they were quite good. I loved Blondie. Their music was awesome. So I was disappointed when they broke up, but it was understandable. It wasn't like a really bad breakup. Like I said, you had that a lot of times within the music industry, because everyone thinks they're right. You get popular, and so they think, oh, geez, we really know what we're doing. So every single member of the band thinks they know what's best because, hey, look at all of our success. And so they all think it's because of them. They think they're so smart, and so if they have any difference of opinion about which way the band should go, a lot of times it ends up leading to a breakup. That's really what happened with Styx, is that everyone in the band thought they knew what was best for the band, and so they didn't actually break up in terms of the band going away. Styx is still around today, but one of their main performers is no longer with them. Dennis DeYoung, their keyboardist, he is gone. So with Blondie, like I said, their breakup actually was not bad in that way. So even though they had broken up for a long time, they were able to get back together. So they reformed in 1997. So that was like 15 years. Now, I'm not sure if they reformed with all of their original members. I doubt it. I'm actually not sure of that. Usually I do look that up before we do our program. But it was such a long gap there that I kind of assumed it's not the same people. So I'm not really sure. But my guess is they probably had at least a couple of the same people. And most importantly, obviously, they had Debbie Harry still, obviously, because she is Blondie. So she was still there. So they reformed in 1997, and they are still around. And as I said, they had about 4 pretty huge hits. They had other ones. They had other kind of smaller hits. Didn't Depends on where you were in the world. I mean, obviously, different songs do better in different areas. There were actually two other songs which were really big in other parts of the world, but not so much in the U.S., so I'm speaking from the U.S. perspective. So in the U.S., they had really 4 big hits, which again doesn't sound like that many. But remember, they were only around and popular for 4 years. Even though they formed in 1974, they didn't become popular until 1978. And then in 1978, that's when they had their first big hit. And then they were gone in 1982 as Debbie Harry quit to take care of her husband. So their 4 big hits are Call Me, which we're going to talk about today, One Way or Another, Heart of Glass, and The Tide is High. And by the way, I love all 4 of those songs. Those are great songs. Even just reading the name, as soon as I read the name of the song, I'm hearing it in my head, like One Way or Another. One way or another, I'm going to find you, I'm going to get you one way. It comes into my mind as soon as I read the words. Same thing with Heart of Glass. And a heart of glass. Yep, I hear it in my head as soon as I say the words. Same thing with The Tide is High. The tide is high and I'm moving on. Yep, great songs, all 4 of them. Call Me, One Way or Another, Heart of Glass, or The Tide is High. And today we're going to be talking about Call Me. So, about this song, Call Me. This is a very weird song. It's actually quite simple. And it means kind of what the name of the song says. Call me. Call me. But it's a weird song because what it's about. So, it is actually about prostitution. Ooh, so it's a kind of dirty song. It's not really dirty. None of the lyrics have anything dirty in them. In fact, they actually even talk about, having emotions when you probably shouldn't, because it's prostitution, right? So you're not supposed to be feeling anything, but they do in the song. There's one line where it says, "Emotions come, I don't know why." So they're actually feeling emotions. So it's actually not. It's not really as dirty as it sounds when I say, "Ooh, it's about prostitution." Oh, bad song, dirty. But what's weird about it isn't just that it's about prostitution. It's about how they came up with the song and how it gets interpreted today. Blondie, the lead singer, Debbie Harry, who is blonde, she has that bleach blonde hair. She's very pretty. So she looks very sexy. She's very sexy looking. And she's singing this song about prostitution. So you think this song is about her being a prostitute or pretending to be one, because obviously she isn't one, but her pretending to be one. It's not about that at all. No. Or at least that's not where they came up with the idea. I mean, maybe that is how she's singing it. Maybe that's what it's about when she's singing it. But that's not where they came up with the idea from at all. It's actually about male prostitution, men being prostitutes, which is weird. Where did they even come up with that idea? Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know where they came up with the idea. I haven't really heard that explained. I just know that they did. I know that that's what they have said, how they came up with the idea. So this is about men being prostitutes, even though the song is sung by a woman, and so most people interpret it as female prostitution. And of course, in most of the world, that is what is most common. I know here in Thailand, sometimes you can have both men and women doing that, and really in all parts of the world, it's men or women. But in most of the world, it's mostly women doing it. And so you have a woman singing the song, and so everyone kind of assumes this is about women being prostitutes. It's actually based on men being prostitutes. Now, again, she might be singing it as if it's female prostitution, but it's based on men. So it's a kind of a weird song. It's weird the way it's. Yeah, you have a woman singing this, so it's really weird. And again, I'm not even really sure how they came up with the idea. I just know that is what it's based on. I do know that because they've actually said that. So that is what it's based on. You may wonder, why would they even write a song about that? Especially since it's such a simple song. When you hear the song, there's nothing really dirty about it, even though you think, oh, prostitution, that's going to be dirty. There's nothing dirty about the song. So it's not, you might expect it to be dirty, because that's how they're going to catch attention. They're going to be very provocative, very over the top. That's how the song's going to get popular. And that's not really why the song's popular at all. It's not even obvious that that's what it's about. If I didn't tell you that that's what the song was about, when we go through the lyrics, you might not even recognize that. In fact, some people think the song is just about being in love with someone and being in love with them so much that anytime you call them, they will be there for you. That's why it's Call Me. And as you'll hear in the song when we listen to it, they repeat Call Me a bunch of times. So a lot of people don't even think that the song is about what it is about. So again, it's a really weird song. So why would they even do a song like this then? They don't make it obvious, so they're not really going for shock value. Ooh, listen to this song about this bad topic. Ooh, isn't this crazy? No. The song is really just popular because of the music. It's a good song. Good song, good music. It's not because of any shock value. There's nothing shocking about the song. It sounds like it could be, based on what it's about, but it's not really. There's nothing shocking about it. It's just a normal song. So, why did they even do it? Well, the reason is really pretty simple. The group was not afraid to write about any topic, really. In fact, they actually kind of liked writing about weird topics. Before they became popular in 1978, in fact, from 1974, that's when they formed, to 1978, they were considered, quote-unquote, an underground band. Now, what is an underground band? What does that mean? Well, these are bands that are going to perform different kinds of music, usually, and usually it's going to be like late at night in these kind of second-rate clubs. They're big enough so that there's some popularity there. So they're not unknown. It's not like just these standard bars that have music where anyone might show up and perform. No, there's some popularity there. But it's not like the top tier of music. So it's where you'd kind of get some of this more weird experimental music. And so that's what they were. They were kind of weird, experimental, so they wrote these weird songs like this. So, that's really it. That's how they came up with it. They're just looking to write a weird song. So they wrote this song. And here we are. So, let's listen to it. All right. And for those of you that are joining us on YouTube, as you know, if you listened to this program before, we cannot embed the video for copyright reasons. So you're going to see a link in your upper right corner of this video. You can go ahead and click on that. That'll jump you to the video by Blondie, Call Me. And then once that's done playing, you can just click right back to get here. And we will go over the lyrics. For anyone else that's listening to this, so if you're on streaming or on radio, you should have no problem. We will embed the song in there, and you will have no problem listening to it. All right, so everyone else, like I said, should be able to listen just fine. Now let's get to the song.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. All right, we spent a lot of time on our first part of our program, so let's get right to this and go through this pretty quickly. These lyrics are mostly easy. Mostly. We start right off with one thing that is a little bit confusing. So again, this song is about prostitution. So it's kind of a scary subject, right? But again, it's not really a bad song. There's nothing in here there's nothing in there that's really bad. In fact, if anything, it's kind of showing a connection. Like I mentioned in the first part of the program, where they mentioned that where the line is, "Emotions come, I don't know why." In other words, they're actually having feelings for each other, even though this is like something you've paid for. They actually feel for each other. So it's a very human story. They're showing, like, these are human beings. You're involved in something intimate like this, and you might have feelings. So it's actually, in some ways, even though it's a kind of a bad topic, it's actually kind of a nice song. All right, but we do start out, like I said, a little bit weird with trying to figure out what this means. So the song starts out, "Color me your color, baby, color me your car." What the heck does that mean? Color me your color? And color me your car? Okay. I will be honest with you, I'm not even really sure what color me your car means. That's a little weird. But this whole first part where they're talking about color is honestly a little bit confusing. And if you look it up online, you're not going to find a good explanation. I actually did, because I was trying to figure out, before we had our episode today, what does this mean? And I'm not even really sure. But what I think it is I think they're just doing, it's very simple. They're just doing a play on words here. Call Me, the name of the song, is about calling someone, like calling them on the telephone to come meet them. But when you talk about calling someone a name, that means you are giving a name to them. Like if you said, "Call her Blondie," you're giving that name to her. So you're calling Debbie Harry Blondie. "Call me Blondie," or something like that. So the word "color me," the phrase "color me," is the same as saying "call me," but in that other meaning. So I think that's what they're doing here. I think it's a play on words. I will admit to you, I'm not sure about that. I'm not 100% sure if that's what they're doing with these lyrics. I am not able to find a good explanation for these lyrics online, but I believe that's what they're doing here. So, for example, you could say, well, color me shocked if you're shocked by something. It's the same thing as saying, well, call me shocked because you're shocked. You're shocked by it. So if you say color me shocked, it means the same thing as call me. So it says, "Color me your color, baby." So it's basically saying call me. Again, I'm not really sure what the next line, "Color me your car." I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, probably when you're talking about a prostitution here, probably someone's in a car because they're going to pick you up. But I'm not so probably related to that since we're right at the beginning of the song. But again, I'm not really sure. All right, so it says, "Color me your color, baby, color me your car, color me your color, darling, I know who you are." So it says, "I know who you are." So basically it's just saying, yep, I understand what's going on here. Yep, I know who you are. I know. So this is being kind of like the person picking up the prostitute. Okay, so it says, "Come up off your color chart. I know where you're coming from." Okay, so come up off your color chart? Again, what does that mean? What are we talking about colors here all about? And once again, this is another one where I will be honest with you, I'm not really sure what is meant by that. Except that it says, I know where you're coming from. So so I think it's basically trying to lure the person in. Come up off your color chart. I know. So come up, get up, come on, let's go. So call me on the line. Call me anytime, call me. I'll arrive, you can call me any day or night, call me. Okay, so that part is pretty obvious. Call me on the line. Okay, that means telephone. When you're talking about calling someone on the line, that means the phone. Of course, back when this song was written, we didn't have cell phones, so you used the landline, which of course used wires. So a line or a wire is kind of the same thing. So call me on the line means call me on the phone. We used to say, for example, drop me a line would mean call me on the phone. So call me on the line means give me a phone call. Call me anytime. Because, of course, we're talking about a prostitute, so they're doing this for work, so they're available anytime. Call me, I'll arrive. You can call me any day or night. So, again, they're available anytime. All right, we get to the second verse. It says, cover me with kisses, baby, cover me with love. Roll me in designer sheets, I'll never get enough. Emotions come, I don't know why. Cover up love's alibi. And then we get to the chorus again. Call me on the line. Call me anytime. Call me. I'll arrive when you're ready. We can share the wine. Call me. Okay, so they change up one of the lines there in the chorus. All right, so in that last verse, it says, cover me with kisses, baby. Cover me with love. Okay, that's pretty simple. Although, again, here we're talking about emotions. Cover me with love and kisses. So this is what I mean about how this really isn't a bad song. Seems like it should be a really bad song, right? Ooh, it's about prostitution. Ooh, bad song, bad topic. No, it's actually about two people having this connection. So they're kissing, they're loving. Roll me in designer sheets. Designer sheets would be like really nice sheets. So maybe they're silk or whatever. So it's very romantic and comfortable. So they say, I'll never get enough. Emotions come. I don't know why. There's that line we talked about. Cover up love's alibi. An alibi is when you have like an excuse for something. We usually use it in crime. That's not the case here. This isn't a crime. But it's usually used in crime. Like you say, oh, well, I couldn't have done that because I wasn't there. I have an alibi. In other words, I have proof that I was somewhere else. So what do they mean by love's alibi? They're trying to say that like there's some excuse for why it's not love. Because they just said emotions come. So they're trying not to be emotional. But they do have emotions. Emotions come, I don't know why. So again, it's presented kind of as a bad song. You know, the topic is bad. We're talking about prostitutes. And in fact, it's a really weird song because we're talking about male prostitutes, and it's being sung by a woman, and it's just it's really weird. Weird, kind of bad, kind of dirty. But it's actually a good song. Because they're talking about these two people getting together through this dirty kind of way where you call them up, they come over, you pay them. It's really bleh. But they actually connect. They have a connection with one another. Emotions come. I don't know why. Cover up love's alibi. And then it says, when you're ready. And then at the end of the chorus, they do change up one of the lines. It says, when you're ready, we can share the wine. So again, they're having kind of an intimate moment together. And that's really a pretty short song. It then just kind of repeats. We get a little bit of French in here and stuff like that. So the rest of the song is just call me. He speaks the languages of love. So again, we're talking about love again. And then then it gets into French. It says, amour, Shamami, shamami, ooh. Appelle-moi, mon chéri, appelle-moi. That just means call me. Mon chéri is my love or my baby. Appelle-moi, call me. So it's really just saying the same thing in French. It's the same words. And then it says anytime, any place, anywhere, any way. Anytime, any place, anywhere, any day. Okay. So again, anytime. And then it says call me, my love. So again, they mention the love. Call me anytime. Call me for a ride. Okay, so for a ride, well, you can interpret that different ways. Call me for some overtime. So again, they want to spend more time together. Call me, my love. Call me in a sweet design. Call me for your lover's alibi. So, you hear them talk about love all the time in there. And emotions. So again, it's really a nice song. And really, and it could have been like some really dirty, raunchy song just for shock value, to try to get attention and get people to listen to it. And that's how it could have become popular. No. Nope. Even though the topic would suggest that maybe they would do that. No. It's a song about two people getting together, and they shouldn't have feelings for each other because it is prostitution. That's what the song's about. But they do have feelings for each other. So it's actually a really kind of nice song that these two people have connected with each other. Now, it may not be perfect because it still says, like at the end of the song, call me anytime, da-da-da-da. So that still suggests that, the person's showing up because they're getting paid. So it's still going, the whole paid arrangement there is still going on. So it's not perfect. Not perfect, but it's better than you might think based on the topic of the song. There are feelings there. They do care about one another. So it's a really nice song, even though you wouldn't think it would end up that way. And it didn't. And again, it didn't become popular because it was shocking, because it's not shocking. It's nice. It became popular just because the music is good. It's a good song. It's a good song. I hope you enjoyed it when we listened to it during the song break. It is a nice song. All right, so that is it for the song. And again, remember, Blondie has several good songs. I always recommend everyone to go check out other music by the bands we talk about on here. I try to talk about different bands every week. I'm sure at some point we're going to repeat because some bands have so many good songs, like Styx and Rush. I'm sure we're going to come back to them and do some more songs by then. But I do try to mix it up since there's so many good bands out there and play different songs from different bands. And because of that, we usually on this program will only hear one song by a band. And some of these bands have lots of good songs. I mean, Blondie, like I said, they were only popular for 4 years. They got 4 big songs. And if you're from other countries like Australia or one of the European countries, they may have even more than that. There were a couple more songs by Blondie that were really popular in other parts of the world that weren't quite as popular in America. But in America, they had 4 big songs. They had Call Me, One Way or Another, Heart of Glass, and The Tide is High. So go listen to those. Go look them up on YouTube and listen to those songs. They're really good. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's Musical Musings program. Again, I'm your host, Gary Gray. Now, please stay with us and tune back in next week when I will bring you another great song. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Musical musings, musical